You are looking at a live picture right now. You can see Baton Rouge police and other law enforcement literally standing right in front of the protesters. Of course, there are Black Panthers here. You can see the Baton Rouge Police Department's SWAT vehicle as well. An officer in that SWAT vehicle, and Airline Highway is shut down. This portion of Airline Highway is shut down.
We start our coverage tonight with an ongoing protest outside BRPD headquarters on Airline Highway, and WAP's Kiran.
Well, Donna, it is a very active protest right this minute. In fact, I'm going to step out and just let you take a look. We're at the corner of Airline and Goodwood. All three corners, I should say 3 of the 4 corners, have protesters on them. Hundreds of protesters with police right on the other corner. Now, the main reason that police came out here earlier and really came out in full force is I want to show you. You see this white line right here? Obviously, this is the main line that separates the roadway from the sidewalk, and that's what they're asking everyone to do. Stay on this side, meaning stay out of Airline Highway. We've been getting information pretty much all morning, but what we do, just like we actually just pushed out, that 3 officers are now confirmed dead. Earlier today, I did take a call that about 8:45, someone who was headed into work around Hammond Air saw a man dressed in all black with a gun strapped to him, went behind the Be Quick, and then all of a sudden he heard shots ringing out.
Right now we've confirmed, as we interrupt your programming, that several officers are down.
There it is unfolding before me.
We also believe that the suspects are still at large.
She shares our live coverage to her Facebook page, asking everyone to pray, saying her husband is out there.
When I heard the area was in, I got sick to my stomach. I had a gut feeling something wasn't right.
After texting other officers' wives and knowing their husbands were safe, she still had nothing from her own.
Then we got a knock at the door. I didn't want to get up to answer it because I knew.
41-year-old Officer Matthew Gerald was gone. Officer Gerald's wife, Desha, has some news to share.
I just wanted to let the world know about our gift that Matt left behind when he left us.
And what is that gift?
We are expecting.
Kind of spun me.
The next few moments, Simmons says, felt like time just slowed down. He went around to the side of a building and called in that he and Nick Tullier had both been shot. Was there ever a moment you thought this was it for you?
No. No.
It's a miracle. There's no doubt in my mind.
A miracle James Tullier's son is alive. Deputy Nick Tullier and a few of his fellow deputies were grabbing breakfast at Frank's restaurant, and all responded to the shooting on July 17th. Nick had been shot 3 times. The sheriff's office called the Tullier family, telling them to head to the hospital.
The doctor said, came out and met with us. He won't live for 24 hours.
This is Tyla Carter. For those of you who do not know her, may be wondering why she's at the hospital. Before we get to that, let's rewind the clock about 7 weeks to July 16th. Carter and her daughter had just finished shopping at Jubin Crossing and were headed home when they got a flat tire. They managed to pull off to the shoulder just before the Denham Springs exit on I-12 westbound. That's when an East Baton Rouge sheriff's deputy came to the rescue.
He finished. I said, well, thank you so much. He said, it's my pleasure. He said, because this is my job. I love doing what I do.
The reason this video is so special, it was the last moment captured of him doing what he so loved the next morning. July 17th, that same deputy was one of the men who responded to Airline Highway. He was shot 3 times. Tonight, he is fighting against all odds with the help of your prayers. He is Deputy Nick Tullier. You walk an inch or 2. Notice the stick. You walk an inch or 2. You'd think, hey, it's only a few inches. Well, guess what? My next step. Look how deep I am. You know why? Because there's a ditch right here. So that goes to show that's why you really don't need to be out here. We are right in the middle of all of it. In fact, I just want to kind of show you. This is just 1 yard. Take a look. This is actually a cane wagon. It kind of looks like a child's toys just left all over in a living room or a bedroom. This is tossed literally blocks away. In walking through the entire prison, the water goes between chest high all the way down to just a few inches. What you're looking at right here, this is actually, people were literally in the middle of playing a game or a deck of cards. When we walk up a little bit closer right here, take a look right here. They were literally in the middle of playing a game and they had to evacuate. And right underneath that, do you see that mold growing underneath that
that table. That's the concern here. That's why we're having to even wear masks.
Joining me right now from CNN affiliate WAFB is Kiran. How did police find the body?
The body was actually found with the help of that 3-year-old child, and I believe this is a case that stands out because that 3-year-old child was pretty much the key witness in this specific case. She said some specific things to police that Mr. Robbie hurt her mom, and at that time they did not know who Mr. Robbie was, and later they were able to figure out that that was the suspect and that her mom was sleeping, she heard a bang, and that her mom's in the lake. That kind of helped police piece that together, that what had happened, and that's how they found this body.
Judge James Best presides over a Point Capee courtroom, but today stood before the state's highest tribunal. It was a 9 years investigation that sparked what ultimately brought him there. WAFB's lead investigator, Kiran Chawla, first reported on this back in 2012. Today, she was in New Orleans for the Supreme Court hearing.
Judge James Best went before the Louisiana Supreme Court today admitting he did cut a convicted sex offender's probation in half. After a 9 years investigation 4 years ago, the Judicial Commission launched an investigation into Judge Best. Today, he went before 7 other judges admitting he was wrong and sorry for his actions.
I made the worst decision in 23 years.